Maya Rodriguez stepped through the front doors of Westfield High School on a hot Tuesday morning in September. The air conditioning hit her face, but it did nothing to calm the nervous feeling in her stomach. This was her third school in 2 years. She was tired of being the new girl, tired of making introductions, tired of explaining why she had to move again. Her father was in the military. Every time he got new orders, the whole family had to pack up and leave. Maya had learned not to get too attached to places or people. It hurt less that way. She found her locker on the second floor and put away her books. Students walked past her in groups, laughing and talking. Nobody looked at her. Nobody said hello. She was invisible, and that was fine with Maya. Being invisible was safer than standing out. The morning classes went by slowly. Teachers asked her to introduce herself. She said the same thing every time. "I'm Maya. I just moved here. My dad is in the military." Then she would sit down and try to disappear into her seat. By lunchtime, Maya was exhausted from all the staring and whispering. She grabbed her lunch bag from her locker and walked outside to the schoolyard. She wanted to find a quiet place to eat alone. The schoolyard was big, with green grass and a few tall trees. Groups of students sat on benches or on the grass. Some played basketball on the courts. Others stood around talking and laughing. Maya walked past them all until she found a large oak tree at the far corner of the yard. It had thick branches that gave plenty of shade. Nobody else was sitting there. Perfect. She sat down with her back against the rough bark and opened her lunch bag. She pulled out a sandwich and a worn paperback book. The book was her favorite, one she had read 5 times already. Reading helped her forget about being alone. For 2 weeks, this became Maya's routine. Go to class, keep quiet, eat lunch under the oak tree, read her book, go home. She didn't try to make friends. She had learned that lesson the hard way at her last school. Just when she started to feel comfortable, her father got new orders and they had to move. The goodbye hurt too much. It was easier to stay alone. But someone had noticed her. Jennifer Blake was the most popular girl at Westfield High. She was tall, blonde, and always surrounded by friends. She wore expensive clothes and carried the newest phone. Everyone wanted to be friends with her or be like her. Jennifer had power at this school and she knew it. Jennifer didn't like it when people didn't follow the rules. And at Westfield, there was an unspoken rule. New students had to prove themselves. They had to show respect to the popular kids, they had to try to fit in. They couldn't just sit alone and ignore everyone. Maya was breaking the rules. One Thursday afternoon, Jennifer stood with her friends near the basketball courts. She watched Maya walk to the oak tree with her lunch and her book. Sarah Chen stood next to Jennifer, twirling her hair. Marcus Webb leaned against the fence, his arms crossed. Tyler Johnson scrolled through his phone, barely paying attention. "She's been here 2 weeks," Jennifer said, her eyes narrowed. "She hasn't talked to anyone. She just sits there every day like she's too good for us." Sarah nodded. "I heard she's moved to like 3 schools. Maybe nobody liked her at the other places either." "Or maybe she thinks she's special," Jennifer said. "I don't like it." Marcus looked up. "What are you going to do?" Jennifer smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "I think the new girl needs a welcome party." The next day was Friday. The weather was even hotter than usual. Maya sat under the oak tree as always. She had just opened her book when she heard footsteps on the grass. She looked up and saw Jennifer Blake walking toward her. 3 other students walked behind Jennifer. Maya's heart started beating faster. She had seen girls like Jennifer at every school. The popular ones who decided who was in and who was out. The ones who made other students' lives miserable just because they could. "Hey," Jennifer said, stopping a few feet away. "You're the new girl, right?" Maya closed her book slowly. "Yes. I'm Jennifer. These are my friends. We've been watching you." Maya didn't respond. She just waited. "You don't talk much, do you?" Jennifer said. She walked closer, and her friends spread out around the tree. Maya felt trapped. "I'm just eating lunch," Maya said quietly. "Just eating lunch," Jennifer repeated, mocking her voice. "Every day all alone like you're too good to talk to anyone." I'm not trying to be rude, Maya said. I just prefer to read. Jennifer laughed, but it was a mean laugh. She prefers to read. Did you hear that, guys? Sarah giggled. Marcus smirked. Tyler had his phone out recording. Maya stood up slowly, gathering her things. I should go. Wait, Jennifer said. We're not done yet. That's when Maya noticed that Marcus was holding something behind his back. He pulled it forward, and Maya's stomach dropped. It was a garden hose, the kind attached to the spigot near the maintenance shed. The water was already running. You know what I think? Jennifer said, stepping closer. I think you need to cool off. You've been pretty cold to everyone here. Maybe some cold water will help you warm up to people. Please don't, Maya said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. Jennifer grabbed the hose from Marcus. She pointed it at Maya. Welcome to Westfield High. The water hit Maya like a punch. It was ice cold, and the pressure was strong. Jennifer moved the hose up and down, soaking Maya from head to toe. The water ruined her clothes, her backpack, her precious book. Her phone fell out of her pocket and landed in a puddle. Students started gathering around. Some laughed. Some pulled out their phones to record. Others just stood there, watching. Nobody helped. Nobody told Jennifer to stop. Maya stood there and took it. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood there as the water poured over her, her eyes locked on Jennifer's face. After what felt like forever, Jennifer turned off the hose. She handed it back to Marcus and brushed water droplets off her shirt. There. Now you're all refreshed. Her friends laughed. Other students were still recording on their phones. Some were posting videos already. Maya would be a viral joke by the end of the day. Maya bent down slowly and picked up her soaked backpack. Her book was destroyed, the pages swollen with water. Her phone screen was cracked. She picked up both anyway. Then she straightened up and looked at Jennifer. This was the moment Jennifer expected Maya to break, to cry, to run away, to beg for mercy. But Maya didn't do any of those things. Instead, she just stared at Jennifer with a calm, blank expression. Her dark eyes didn't show anger or fear or sadness. They showed nothing at all. It was like looking at a wall. The silence stretched out for several long seconds. Jennifer's smile started to fade. There was something unsettling about the way Maya was looking at her. Something that made the victory feel less sweet. Then Maya spoke. Her voice was soft but clear. Okay. That was all she said. Just one word. Okay. Then she turned and walked away, leaving wet footprints on the concrete path. Water dripped from her hair and clothes. Students moved out of her way as she passed. Nobody said anything. The laughter had stopped. Jennifer watched her go, feeling a strange twist in her stomach. Something about this felt wrong. She had expected tears, drama, maybe even a fight. But this calm acceptance was creepy. It made Jennifer feel like she had made a mistake. That was awesome, Marcus said, breaking the silence. Did you see her face? She didn't even cry, Sarah added. What a weirdo. Jennifer forced a smile. Yeah, total weirdo. Come on, let's go. As they walked away, Jennifer looked back once more at the oak tree. Maya's book still lay on the grass, ruined. The puddle of water slowly soaked into the ground. Jennifer shook off the uncomfortable feeling. She had won. She was still in charge. The new girl had learned her lesson. But deep down, in a place she didn't want to admit existed, Jennifer felt afraid. Because Maya hadn't acted like any victim she had ever bullied before, and that calm, empty stare had promised something. Maya had said, okay, but it hadn't sounded like surrender. It had sounded like a warning. Maya didn't come back to school that day. After the hose incident, she walked home in her wet clothes. Some students saw her leaving campus early. The videos of her getting soaked had already spread through social media. By evening, everyone at Westfield High had seen it. Jennifer watched the videos on her phone that night. In each one she looked powerful. She looked like someone in control. The comments were mostly laughing emojis and jokes about the new girl. A few people said it was mean, but most just thought it was funny. Jennifer felt satisfied. The message was clear. Don't mess with Jennifer Blake, but she kept thinking about that one word. Okay. And those cold, empty eyes, she shook her head. She was being stupid. The new girl was probably crying at home right now. Maybe she would even transfer to a different school. Problem solved. When Monday morning came, Jennifer walked into school with her head high. Sarah and Marcus were waiting at her locker, both smiling. Did you see the video got over 2,000 views? Sarah said excitedly. I know, Jennifer said, opening her locker. Classic. Think she'll even show up today? Marcus asked. Jennifer shrugged. Probably not. She's probably too embarrassed. But she was wrong. First period hadn't even started when Jennifer saw Maya in the hallway. She was walking to class like nothing had happened. She wore clean clothes and carried a new backpack. Her hair was neat. She didn't look upset or embarrassed. She looked completely normal. Jennifer stared. Maya walked right past her without even glancing in her direction. Did you see that? Sarah whispered. She's acting like Friday never happened. Weird, Marcus muttered. Jennifer frowned. This wasn't right. Victims were supposed to be afraid. They were supposed to avoid their bullies. They were supposed to look broken. But Maya just looked fine. The morning classes passed. Jennifer kept looking for Maya, but they didn't have any classes together. At lunch, Jennifer walked out to the schoolyard with her friends. They headed to their usual spot near the basketball courts. That's when Jennifer saw her. Maya was sitting under the oak tree. The same tree where she had been soaked with water. She was sitting in the exact same spot, her back against the trunk. But this time she wasn't reading a book. She was just sitting there, watching, and she was looking directly at Jennifer. Jennifer felt a cold shiver run down her spine. Maya's face showed no expression. She wasn't glaring or crying or looking angry. She was just watching. Like Jennifer was an interesting science experiment. Is she staring at us? Sarah asked nervously. Ignore her, Jennifer said, sitting down on a bench. She's trying to be creepy. But ignoring Maya was harder than Jennifer expected. Every time she looked up, Maya was still there. Still watching. Still expressionless. It was like having an itch you couldn't scratch. It made Jennifer feel uncomfortable in her own territory. This is freaking me out, Tyler said, looking at his phone instead of at Maya. Why doesn't she just leave? Because she's weird, Jennifer snapped. Just forget about her, but none of them could forget. Maya sat there for the entire lunch period. She didn't eat. She didn't read. She didn't use her phone. She just watched. When the bell rang, she stood up and walked calmly to her next class. Jennifer tried to laugh it off. See, she's just trying to get attention. Ignore her and she'll get bored. But Maya didn't get bored. The next day, Tuesday, Maya showed up again. This time she was waiting in the hallway near Jennifer's locker before school started. She was leaning against the wall about 20 feet away. When Jennifer arrived, Maya looked at her, gave a tiny smile, and then looked away. That little smile made Jennifer's blood run cold. It wasn't friendly. It wasn't mean. It was knowing. Like Maya had a secret. Why is she here? Sarah whispered. She's trying to intimidate us, Jennifer said loudly, making sure Maya could hear. It's not going to work. Maya didn't react. She just pushed off from the wall and walked away to class. At lunch, Maya was at the oak tree again. Watching. Always watching. Jennifer tried to act normal, but she kept glancing over. Every time she did, Maya was looking right at her. Wednesday was worse. Maya started showing up everywhere. She was near the parking lot when Jennifer arrived at school. She was in the hallway when Jennifer walked to third period. She was in the cafeteria line behind Jennifer's group. She was at the oak tree during lunch. She never said anything. She never approached. She just appeared, watched for a while, and then moved on. It was like having a shadow that you couldn't lose. She's stalking us, Marcus said on Wednesday afternoon. This is harassment. Should we tell a teacher? Tyler asked. And say what? Jennifer snapped. That the new girl is standing in public places? She's not doing anything wrong. She's just being creepy on purpose. But even Jennifer was starting to feel uneasy. Maya's constant presence was getting under her skin. It was the way she never looked angry or afraid. It was the way she never confronted them or tried to get revenge. She just watched. And that was somehow worse than anything else she could have done. That night, Jennifer was awakened by a sound outside her house. Her car alarm was going off. She looked at her phone. It was 2 in the morning. Her father went outside and turned off the alarm. He checked the car but couldn't find anything wrong. Maybe it was just a malfunction, but Jennifer lay awake for a long time, wondering. On Thursday morning, Jennifer walked to her locker and tried to open it. The combination didn't work. She tried again, and again. Nothing. She had used the same combination all year. It had worked fine yesterday, but now it wouldn't open. She had to go to the office and get them to reset the lock. The secretary acted like it was a simple mistake. Sometimes students forget their combinations, she said kindly. But Jennifer hadn't forgotten. Someone had changed it. She looked around the hallway. Maya was there, leaning against a wall 20 feet away. She was looking at Jennifer with that same small smile. Jennifer felt her hand shake. "Did you do this?" she called out. Maya just tilted her head slightly, like she didn't understand the question. Then she turned and walked away. "She definitely did something," Sarah said. "This is getting scary." "We don't know it was her," Marcus said, but he didn't sound convinced. "She was probably home sleeping when your car alarm went off, Jennifer." Jennifer wanted to believe that. But deep down she wasn't sure anymore. Friday brought something worse. When students arrived at school, they found papers taped to the walls throughout the hallways. They were printouts of text messages, mean messages that Jennifer had sent to other students. Messages where she had made fun of people, called them names, spread rumors about them. The messages were real. Jennifer recognized them, but they had been private. She had sent them to Sarah and Marcus in group chats. Nobody else was supposed to see them. Now everyone was seeing them. Students crowded around the printouts, reading and whispering. Some looked shocked. Others looked angry. A few looked sad, especially the ones who had been mentioned in the messages. Teachers started taking down the papers, but the damage was done. Everyone had already seen them. People were taking pictures with their phones. The messages would spread even further. Jennifer felt panic rising in her chest. "Who did this?" she demanded, looking at Sarah and Marcus. "Did you show these messages to someone?" "No," Sarah said, her eyes wide. "I would never. I swear." "Then how did someone get them?" Jennifer's voice was shaking now. Nobody had an answer. Jennifer looked down the hallway and saw Maya. She was standing by the water fountain, looking at one of the printouts on the wall. As if she could feel Jennifer's eyes on her, Maya turned her head. Their eyes met. Maya didn't smile this time. She just looked at Jennifer for a long moment. Then she calmly walked to class. At lunch, Jennifer's friends were scared. They sat on their bench, but nobody felt comfortable. The videos of the hose incident had made Jennifer look powerful. But these text messages made her look cruel. Public opinion was shifting. "We need to do something," Tyler said nervously. "This is bad. What can we do?" Marcus asked. "We don't even know if it's really her." "We don't have proof. Of course it's her," Jennifer said. "Who else would do this?" "She's getting revenge." "But how?" Sarah asked. "How is she doing any of this? We never see her near your locker or your car. She's always in public places with witnesses." "It doesn't make sense." Jennifer looked across the schoolyard. Maya was at the oak tree again. This time she had brought a sandwich. She ate slowly, calmly, while watching Jennifer's group fall apart. Jennifer stood up suddenly. "That's it. I'm confronting her." "Jennifer, wait," Marcus started, but Jennifer was already walking across the grass. Her friends hurried to follow. Students around the yard stopped talking and watched. Everyone sensed that something was about to happen. Jennifer marched up to the oak tree and stood in front of Maya. "What do you want?" she demanded. Maya finished chewing and swallowed. She looked up at Jennifer calmly. "I'm eating lunch. Don't play games with me," Jennifer said. Her voice was loud now. "I know you're doing this. The locker, the messages, all of it. I know it's you." Maya set down her sandwich. She stood up slowly, brushing dirt off her pants. She was shorter than Jennifer, but somehow she didn't look small. She looked at Jennifer with those dark, calm eyes. "Doing what?" Maya asked. Her voice was soft, but everyone could hear it in the quiet schoolyard. "You know what?" Jennifer shouted. The weekend gave Jennifer time to think. She spent most of Saturday in her room, trying to figure out what to do. Her mother knocked on her door several times asking if she was okay. Jennifer said she was fine, but she wasn't. She was scared and she hated feeling scared. On Sunday evening, Jennifer's phone buzzed. It was a message from Sarah. "Check Instagram." Jennifer's heart sank. She opened the app and immediately saw what Sarah meant. Someone had created a fake account using Jennifer's name and photo. The account had posted screenshots of more mean messages, along with photos from parties where Jennifer and her friends had been drinking. The posts were tagged with the school's name. Jennifer's hands shook as she scrolled through the posts. This was bad, really bad. If teachers or the principal saw this, she could get in serious trouble. She reported the account immediately, but the damage was already done. Her real followers had seen it. They were commenting, asking if it was really her. She tried calling Sarah, but Sarah didn't answer. She tried Marcus, no answer. Even Tyler ignored her calls. Her friends were pulling away, scared of being associated with her as everything fell apart. Jennifer didn't sleep that night. She kept checking her phone, watching as more and more people saw the fake account. By morning, Instagram had taken it down, but screenshots had already spread. People had shared it on other platforms. There was no taking it back. Monday morning felt like walking into a nightmare. When Jennifer got to school, students stared at her. Some whispered behind their hands. Others looked at her with disgust. The girl who had been the most popular was now being treated like an outcast. Sarah was waiting at Jennifer's locker, but she looked nervous. "This is getting out of control," she said quietly. "Maybe we should tell someone, like a counselor or something." "And say what?" Jennifer asked bitterly. "That we think the new girl is doing all this, but we have no proof? They'll just think we're paranoid." "But we can't just let this keep happening," Sarah said. "What's next?" Jennifer didn't have an answer. She grabbed her books and headed to first period. As she walked down the hallway, she saw Maya at her locker. Maya looked calm and normal, like she had every day. When she saw Jennifer looking, she gave a small nod, like they were just regular classmates saying hello. That casual greeting made Jennifer even more angry. Maya was pretending to be innocent, but Jennifer knew better. She had to know something. But how could Jennifer prove it? In third period, something happened that shook Jennifer even more. The teacher, Mrs. Patterson, made an announcement. "The principal wants to remind everyone that bullying and cyberbullying are serious issues. If anyone has experienced or witnessed bullying, please report it to a teacher or counselor. All reports will be kept confidential." Several students glanced at Jennifer. She felt her face turn red. They were thinking about the hose incident, about the text messages that had been posted around school, about everything. At lunch, Jennifer's usual group was smaller. Tyler had stopped sitting with them last week. Now it was just Jennifer, Sarah, and Marcus. They sat at their bench, but nobody talked much. "My mom is mad at me," Sarah said suddenly. Her voice was shaking. "Someone sent her a video." "What video?" Jennifer asked. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "From middle school. When those girls used to bully me. I don't know how anyone even has that video. I thought it was gone. But now my mom saw it and she's asking why I never told her about being bullied and why I'm being mean to other people now." Jennifer felt cold. "Who sent it to her?" "I don't know," Sarah said. "It came from a fake email address." Marcus was quiet. Too quiet. Jennifer looked at him. "What's wrong with you?" Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "My college recommendation letter. The one Principal Harris wrote for me. It went missing from his office last week. They found it in the lost and found, but it was damaged. He had to write a new one, and he asked me if there was a reason someone would sabotage me." "What did you tell him?" Jennifer asked. "I said I didn't know," Marcus replied. But then he asked if I had any problems with other students, if I had been involved in any incidents. I think he knows something." The three of them sat in silence. Their world was crumbling and they couldn't stop it. Across the schoolyard, Maya sat under the oak tree. But she wasn't alone anymore. 3 other students were sitting with her. They were talking and laughing. Maya looked comfortable, happy even. Jennifer recognized the other students. They were the quiet ones, the ones who usually ate alone, the ones who Jennifer and her friends had ignored or made fun of over the years. Now they were sitting with Maya like they were friends. "She's recruiting them," Jennifer said, her voice hollow. "What?" Sarah asked. "Look at her. She's making friends with all the outsiders, all the people we've treated badly. She's building an army against us." Marcus shook his head. You're being paranoid. But Jennifer wasn't sure she was wrong. Over the next few days, things got worse. Sarah's parents made her see a counselor to talk about her middle school bullying experience. The counselor asked Sarah questions about how she treated other students now. Sarah came to school with red eyes from crying. Marcus got called into the principal's office. Someone had reported that he had cheated on a test last year. It was true, but nobody was supposed to know about it. The principal gave him a warning and put a note in his file. It could affect his college applications. Even Tyler, who had been trying to distance himself from the group, got hit. His phone number was somehow added to a bunch of spam lists. He got hundreds of calls and texts every day from telemarketers and scammers. He had to change his number. And through it all, Maya was just there. Always visible. Always in public places. Always with witnesses who could confirm she hadn't done anything wrong. She went to class. She ate lunch.
She talked with her new friends.
She looked like a normal, innocent student. But Jennifer knew better. This was all connected. It had to be. Maya was destroying them piece by piece, and she was doing it so carefully that nobody could prove she was involved. On Wednesday afternoon, Jennifer reached her breaking point. She saw Maya in the hallway, walking with two of her new friends. Jennifer marched up to her, not caring who was watching. I know what you're doing, Jennifer said, her voice shaking with anger and fear. I know it's you. Maya stopped walking. Her friend stepped back, looking uncomfortable. Maya looked at Jennifer with those calm, dark eyes. We've had this conversation before. I'm not doing anything. You're lying, Jennifer said. You're getting revenge for what happened. Just admit it, Jennifer, Maya said quietly. I go to class. I do my homework. I eat lunch with my friends. That's all I do. If bad things are happening to you, maybe you should think about why. What does that mean? Jennifer demanded. Maya glanced at the students who had gathered to watch. It means that actions have consequences. You treated people badly for a long time. Maybe that's catching up to you. But that's not my fault. That's yours. Jennifer felt like she had been slapped. You can't prove anything I did. I'm not trying to prove anything, Maya said. I'm not the one who made you send those mean texts. I'm not the one who made you bully other students. You did that yourself. All I'm doing is existing. If that makes you uncomfortable, maybe you should ask yourself why. With that, Maya walked away. Her friends followed. Jennifer stood in the hallway, shaking. Students were staring at her. Some looked sympathetic. Others looked satisfied, like they were happy to see Jennifer suffer. Jennifer went to the bathroom and locked herself in a stall. She sat on the closed toilet lid and put her head in her hands. She wanted to cry, but she was too angry, too confused, too scared. Everything was falling apart, and she didn't know how to stop it. That evening, Jennifer's phone buzzed with a notification. The school's anonymous reporting system had sent an email to all students. It was a reminder that bullying incidents could be reported anonymously through the school website. The email included examples of what counted as bullying. One example was about a group of students who had soaked another student with a hose. Jennifer's stomach dropped. That was her. They were talking about her without using her name. The email went on to explain that the school was investigating several bullying complaints. Students involved in bullying could face consequences, including detention, suspension, or even expulsion. Parents would be notified. Colleges could be informed. Jennifer's mother called her down for dinner. Jennifer, honey, do you know anything about this email from your school? No, Jennifer lied. Why? Her mother looked at her phone. It says there have been bullying incidents. The principal wants to talk to parents about it. They're having a meeting next week. Jennifer felt sick. I'm not hungry. Can I be excused? Her mother looked worried. Are you okay? You've been acting strange lately. I'm fine, Jennifer said, standing up. Just tired. She went back to her room and lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Everything was crashing down. The fake Instagram account, the text messages posted around school, the email about bullying investigations. It was all building to something, and Jennifer had no idea what to do. On Thursday, something happened that made Jennifer realize how bad things had really gotten. She walked into the cafeteria at lunch and looked for an empty table. But when she tried to sit at her usual spot, a group of sophomore girls were already there. Friday morning arrived with a special announcement over the school intercom. Principal Harris's voice filled every classroom. All students, please report to the auditorium for a mandatory assembly. Teachers, please bring your classes now. Jennifer's stomach twisted. She knew what this was about. Everyone knew. The whispers had been getting louder all week. The school was going to address the bullying problem, and Jennifer was at the center of it. She walked to the auditorium with her head down, trying to avoid eye contact with other students. Sarah caught up with her in the hallway. She looked pale and scared. "This is it," Sarah whispered. "They're going to call us out in front of everyone." "They can't do that," Jennifer said, but she didn't sound confident. "That's not allowed." But as they filed into the auditorium and took their seats, Jennifer saw the setup on the stage. There was a large screen and a podium. Principal Harris stood there with a serious expression. Next to him was the school counselor, Ms. Chen, and Officer Martinez, the resource officer. This was serious. The auditorium filled with students. The noise level was high as everyone wondered what this was about. Jennifer spotted Maya sitting several rows ahead with her group of friends. Maya looked calm, like this was just a normal assembly. Principal Harris stepped up to the microphone. "Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I know you're all wondering why we called this emergency assembly. The reason is simple but important. We need to talk about bullying and cyberbullying." The room got quieter. Students glanced at each other. "Over the past few weeks," the principal continued, "several students have come forward to report bullying incidents. Some of these incidents happened recently. Others happened months or even years ago. But all of them are serious." Jennifer felt every eye in the room on her. She knew people were thinking about the hose incident, about the text messages, about everything. "I'm not here to name names or shame anyone," Principal Harris said. "That's not how we solve problems. But I am here to show you why bullying matters, why it hurts, and what we're going to do about it." The lights dimmed. The screen behind the principal lit up. Images began to appear. They were screenshots of text messages, photos, videos. Jennifer recognized some of them. They were messages she had sent. Photos from parties. Videos of students being mocked or excluded. But they weren't just from Jennifer. There were examples from other students too. Mean comments posted on social media. Groups excluding classmates. People spreading rumors. The screen showed a pattern of bullying that went beyond just one person or one group. It showed a school culture that had let this behavior continue for years. "This is not just about individual students," the principal said. "This is about all of us, about how we've allowed a culture where bullying is accepted or ignored. Every person in this room has either been bullied, witnessed bullying, or participated in bullying. That includes adults too. We're all part of this problem." Jennifer felt tears building in her eyes. She had expected to be called out and punished. But this was different. This was harder. Because the principal was right. She had participated in a system that hurt people, and seeing all the evidence laid out on that screen made it impossible to deny. The screen changed to show statistics. How many students at Westfield High had experienced bullying? How many felt unsafe at school? How many had considered leaving or even worse thoughts because of how they were treated? The numbers were shocking. Nearly half the school had experienced some form of bullying. Dozens of students had reported feeling depressed or anxious because of it. 3 students had even attempted to harm themselves. The auditorium was completely silent now. Even the usual troublemakers were paying attention. "But I didn't call you here just to show you the problem," Principal Harris said. "I called you here to talk about solutions. Starting today, Westfield High is implementing a new program. It's called Restorative Justice." Ms. Chen stepped forward. "Restorative justice is different from regular punishment," she explained. "Instead of just suspending students or giving detention, we bring together the people who were hurt and the people who caused harm. We talk about what happened, why it happened, and how to fix it. The goal is healing, not just punishment." Jennifer's heart started beating faster. This sounded scary. Talking to the people she had hurt? Looking them in the eye? That seemed worse than suspension. "Now, I want to be clear," Principal Harris said. "This program is voluntary. Students who have caused harm can choose to participate. If they do, they'll work with counselors and the students they hurt to make things right. They'll learn about the impact of their actions. They'll take responsibility, and they'll work to change." He paused and looked out at the audience. "But if students choose not to participate, then we'll handle things the traditional way. Suspensions, expulsions, notes in permanent records that colleges will see. The choice is yours." The screen changed again. This time it showed information about the program. There were sign-up sheets, support groups, counseling services, ways to report bullying anonymously, resources for both victims and bullies. We're also creating a student support committee, Ms. Chen added. This will be a group of students who are trained to help their peers deal with bullying. They'll be there to listen, to support, and to help create a better school culture. Jennifer looked at the screen and saw a photo of the committee members. Her breath caught. Maya was one of them. Maya was in the photo, standing with about 10 other students. They were all people who had been bullied or excluded at some point. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. Maya hadn't been getting revenge. She had been collecting evidence. All those times she was watching, she was documenting the text messages that got posted around school, the reports that led to this investigation, the students who had finally felt brave enough to come forward. Maya had been building a case, not against Jennifer specifically, but against the entire culture of bullying at Westfield High. Before we dismiss, Principal Harris said, I want you to hear from someone. She's a student who came to our school just a few weeks ago. Some of you know what happened to her. She's volunteered to share her story. Please welcome Maya Rodriguez. Jennifer's heart stopped. Maya stood up and walked to the stage. She climbed the steps and took the microphone. She looked small standing there in front of the whole school, but she didn't look scared. Hi, Maya said. Her voice was quiet but clear. Some of you know me. Some of you saw the video of me getting soaked with a hose on my second week here. That video got a lot of views and a lot of laughs. The auditorium was completely silent. Students who had laughed at that video now looked uncomfortable. I've been to 3 schools in 2 years because my dad is in the military, Maya continued. And at every single school I've seen the same thing. Bullying. People being mean to each other because they think it makes them powerful or popular or cool. At my first school I was bullied so badly that I didn't want to go anymore. I cried every day. I felt worthless. Jennifer felt like she couldn't breathe. She had made someone feel like that. Just 4 weeks ago. At my second school I tried to fit in. I became friends with the popular kids. And you know what? I became a bully too. I thought that if I was on the powerful side I wouldn't get hurt. But I was wrong. Being a bully just made me hate myself. And it hurt other people for no good reason. Maya paused and looked out at the students. When I came here, I decided to do something different. I decided to document everything, to show what bullying really looks like. Not just the big incidents like what happened to me, but all the small things too. The mean texts, the exclusion, the rumors, all of it. She took a deep breath. I know some of you are scared right now. You're worried about getting in trouble. You're worried about what will happen to you. And I understand that. But I want you to know something. I didn't do this to destroy anyone. I did this to help everyone. Jennifer looked up, confused. Help? The thing about bullying is that it hurts everyone, Maya said. It hurts the victims, obviously. But it also hurts the bullies. Because when you're mean to people, you have to become someone you're not. You have to shut down your empathy. You have to live with guilt even if you don't admit it. And you have to constantly worry about losing your power. She looked directly at Jennifer's section of the auditorium. I could have gotten revenge in so many ways. I could have destroyed reputations. I could have gotten people expelled. But what would that accomplish? It would just continue the cycle. Someone hurts someone, so they hurt them back, and it never ends. Maya's voice got stronger. That's why I chose to work with Principal Harris and Ms. Chen on this program. Because I believe that people can change. I've seen it happen. I've changed. And I think others can too. But only if we're willing to face what we've done. Only if we're willing to make it right. She set down the microphone and started to walk off stage, but then she stopped and came back. Oh, and one more thing. To the people who hurt me, I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. And holding on to anger doesn't give me that. But forgiveness doesn't mean there are no consequences. It just means I'm not going to let what you did define my life. Maya left the stage. The auditorium erupted in applause. Some students were crying. Others looked thoughtful. Jennifer sat in the small conference room, her hands shaking in her lap. The room was painted a calm blue color. There was a round table with several chairs. Ms. Chen, the school counselor, sat next to her. Across the table sat 3 students. Students Jennifer had hurt. The first was David Park. Jennifer had made fun of his clothes and accent for 2 years. The second was Emily Watson. Jennifer had spread a rumor that Emily had cheated on a test, which wasn't true. The third was Marcus Thompson, a freshman. Jennifer and her friends had knocked his books out of his hands multiple times and laughed at him in the hallways. This was Jennifer's second week in the restorative justice program. The first week had been just her, working with Ms. Chen to understand what she had done and why. That week had been hard. Jennifer had to write down every mean thing she could remember doing. She had to think about how it affected other people. She had cried more than she had in years. But this week was harder. This week she had to face the people she had hurt. She had to listen to them. Really listen. Jennifer, Ms. Chen said gently, "Are you ready to begin?" Jennifer nodded even though she didn't feel ready at all. "Remember the process," Ms. Chen said. "First, each person will share their experience. You'll listen without interrupting. Then you'll have a chance to respond. The goal is understanding, not arguing, okay?" "Okay," Jennifer whispered. David went first. "When I started at this school 2 years ago, I was excited. I had just moved here from Korea, and I wanted to make friends. But you made fun of the way I talked. You laughed at my lunch. You told other people not to sit with me because I was weird." His voice was calm, but Jennifer could hear the pain underneath. "I started eating lunch in the bathroom because I was too embarrassed to sit alone in the cafeteria. I begged my parents to move me to a different school. I felt like there was something wrong with me. Like I didn't belong anywhere." Jennifer felt tears rolling down her cheeks. She remembered making fun of David. She remembered thinking it was funny. But hearing what it had done to him made her feel sick. Emily went next. "You spread a rumor that I cheated on Mr. Wilson's test. I didn't cheat. I studied really hard because I needed a good grade. But because of what you said, people started calling me a cheater. Teachers looked at me differently. I almost got kicked off the honor roll because Mr. Wilson investigated the rumor." Emily's voice shook. "My parents were so disappointed. They thought I had actually cheated. It took weeks to prove I hadn't done anything wrong. And even after the truth came out, people still called me a cheater. It followed me around for months." Jennifer wanted to explain that she had just been jealous of Emily's good grades, that she had made up the rumor because she was failing that class. But she stayed quiet and listened like Ms. Chen had taught her. Marcus was last. He was only 14 and he looked scared to be there. "You and your friends pushed me around. You called me names. You made me feel small and stupid. I started skipping school because I was afraid to walk through the hallways. My grades got bad because I missed so much class." He paused and wiped his eyes. "My mom kept asking me what was wrong, but I didn't tell her. I felt like it was my fault. Like if I was stronger or cooler, you wouldn't pick on me. I started thinking that maybe I should just disappear." That last sentence hit Jennifer like a punch. Disappear could mean a lot of things, and none of them were good. She had done that to someone. She had made a 14-year-old kid feel like he shouldn't exist. When all three had finished sharing, Ms. Chen turned to Jennifer. "Do you understand how your actions affected these students?" Jennifer nodded, unable to speak at first. Finally, she managed, "Yes, I understand. And I'm so sorry," but Ms. Chen shook her head gently. "Sorry is important, Jennifer. But these students need more than that. They need to understand why you did it. Can you explain that?" Jennifer took a deep breath. This was the hardest part, admitting the truth about herself. "I was insecure," she said quietly. "I know that sounds stupid because I was supposed to be the popular one. But I was scared all the time. Scared that people would realize I wasn't that special, that I was just average. So I made other people feel small to make myself feel big." She looked at David. "I made fun of you because you were different, and that scared me. You were confident in who you were and I wasn't. So I tried to make you feel bad about the things that made you unique." She turned to Emily. "I spread that rumor because I was jealous. You were smart and worked hard and I was lazy. Instead of working harder myself, I tried to tear you down." Finally, she looked at Marcus. "And I picked on you because you were an easy target. You were younger and smaller and you didn't fight back. It made me feel powerful. But it was fake power. Power that came from hurting someone weaker than me." The room was quiet for a moment. Then David spoke. "Why are you doing this program? You could have just taken the suspension." Jennifer had asked herself that question many times over the past 2 weeks. Because Maya was right. Getting suspended wouldn't change anything. I'd still be the same person who hurt people. I'd just be more careful about not getting caught. "I don't want to be that person anymore." She paused. "And honestly, living with what I did was killing me. Every time I walked through the school, I saw the people I had hurt. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't focus. I was miserable, and I was making everyone around me miserable too. Something had to change, and that something was me. Over the next hour, they talked more. It wasn't easy. Sometimes people got angry. Sometimes they cried. But slowly there was understanding. Not forgiveness, not yet. Some of them might never forgive her, and Jennifer was learning that was okay. She had hurt them, and they had a right to feel however they felt. But there was honesty. And there was a beginning. A small start toward something better. The sessions continued for weeks. Jennifer met with more students. She heard more stories about how her actions had affected people. Each session was painful but also necessary. She was starting to see how much damage she had caused, and she was starting to understand the responsibility that came with that knowledge. Sarah and Marcus were also in the program, going through their own sessions. Tyler had chosen to take the suspension instead. He left Westfield High and transferred to a private school across town. Jennifer heard he was telling people there that he had been treated unfairly at Westfield, that he was the real victim. Hearing that made Jennifer sad. Tyler was missing the chance to become a better person. As the weeks passed, things at school changed. The student support committee that Maya was part of became very active. They set up tables in the cafeteria where students could talk about problems. They organized events that brought different groups of students together. They created a buddy system where older students helped younger ones feel welcome. The schoolyard under the oak tree became a meeting place for the committee. Jennifer would sometimes see Maya there with a group of students, planning their next event or just hanging out. Maya looked happy. She had found her place at Westfield High. Jennifer, on the other hand, had lost her place. She was no longer popular. She no longer had a group of friends who followed her around. Most students were polite to her but distant. They knew she was trying to change, but trust took time to rebuild. One day in December, about 2 months after the assembly, Jennifer was eating lunch alone. She had gotten used to it. It was actually peaceful in a way. She didn't have to perform or pretend anymore. She could just be herself, even if that self was still figuring out who she was. Maya walked over to her table. "Mind if I sit?" she asked. Jennifer looked up, surprised. Sure." Maya sat down with her lunch. For a few minutes they ate in silence. Finally Maya spoke. "Ms. Chen told me you've been doing well in the program. That you're really trying." "I am," Jennifer said. "It's hard. But I'm trying. That's all anyone can ask," Maya said. She took a bite of her sandwich. "I'm leaving soon." Jennifer felt a strange twist of emotion. "What? Why?" "My dad got new orders. We're moving again in January. To California this time." Jennifer felt sad, which was weird. A few months ago, she would have been happy to see Maya leave. But now, Maya felt like the one person who truly understood what Jennifer was going through. "I'm sorry to hear that," Jennifer said. "You've done so much here. Changed so much," Maya smiled. "I didn't change anything. I just helped people see what was already there." The students who came forward, they're the brave ones. They're the ones who chose to speak up. She paused. "And you're brave too, Jennifer. It takes courage to admit you were wrong. To face the people you hurt. A lot of people never do that." "I'm not brave," Jennifer said. "I'm just trying not to be a terrible person anymore." "That's what bravery is," Maya said. "It's choosing to do the hard thing when the easy thing would be to stay the same." They talked for the rest of the lunch period. It wasn't quite friendship, but it wasn't hostility either. It was something in between. An understanding between two people who had both been changed by what happened. Before Maya left, Jennifer asked, "Did you ever really hate me? For what I did?" Maya thought about it. Hate is too strong. I was angry, yes. Hurt, definitely. But I also felt sorry for you, because I knew what it was like to be you. To think that being mean made you powerful. I knew how empty that felt.